Welcome to the Daytona International Speedway for the regular season finale. I'm Alex Hayden, and this race will lock in our 16-car field for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Tonight could make or break someone's season, and you never know what's going to happen when the big one could take out the contenders at any moment. Cars are gridded, the drivers and the teams are ready. So let's head trackside to hear the most famous words in motorsports.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight to another edition of NASCAR 22 on the channel, and it's a special edition as we are in the regular season finale at the Daytona International Speedway. And yes, the playoff battle is extremely tight coming into this race today. I put in the community tab late last night following the course of last night's race at Watkins Glen and our 9th win of the season for our driver Kevin Harvick. The updated point standings, you can see them scrolling across the top of the screen as well. I will have those updated at the end of stage 2. We do that for all the elimination races when I had to do the points myself in NASCAR 21, so we'll do the same thing here on the NASCAR 22 side of things, with this being the last race of the regular season. 38 points above the cutoff line, we have two-time champion Kyle Busch. He is, though, plus 38 after a great performance yesterday at Watkins Glen, so he's likely sitting pretty good. Drivers, though, right around the cutoff line, Austin Cindric plus 13, Kurt Busch just plus 1, Eric Almirola minus 1, Denny Hamlin, not a NASCAR champion, but he is very good at Daytona specifically. He does have a few career wins here, 3 Daytona 500s. He'll be a threat today, could make up that 19-point deficit, not to mention if we get a winner below the cutoff line to lock themselves in this final race of the regular season, they will lock themselves in, and then Kurt Busch on back will be bumped out, unless, of course, Kurt Busch can outscore Cindric by 12. Anything can really happen in this race today. Even Alex Bowman, who's 42 points above the cutoff line right now, he is the highest driver in on points that isn't already locked in. I don't even think he is necessarily a lock, considering this is a super speedway race today. Now, we will be starting in last place. I did clinch the regular season championship with the win and the sweeping of the stages yesterday at Watkins Glen. In fact, not only I swept the stages, won the race, but I also led every single lap in the race, and we luckily did not have a glitch with the tires yesterday. I was quite surprised. It was the first road course race we've had in NASCAR 22 where we haven't had a glitch where the tires fall off the race car after you make a green flag pit stop, almost as if the rear tires are basically non-existent or you didn't change the rear tires. So whatever the case was yesterday, we didn't have an issue with it. I'm quite surprised, but needless to say, we are going to get into today's race. We have nothing to worry about, even if I run poorly this whole race and lose the draft off the start of the race. I mean, even if I lose the draft off the start of the race, as long as I finish on the lead lap at the end of stage 1, we'll have a chance to see where we may cycle. No stability help on for this race, so that'll be interesting. Hopefully I don't have to restart with any speed glitches. We did have some speed glitches at Atlanta both times we were there. I don't remember having any in the Daytona 500, though, so we'll hope for the best. Bubba Wallace will be on the pole for this one today. He is the Daytona 500 winner this year, so he's trying to go for the Daytona sweep and pick up his 3rd win of the year. Chris Buescher is the highest driver right now in a must-win situation. That will be in the qualifying order on the outside of the front row. Remember, he won a Daytona dual race in real life in 2022, so he'll probably be fast today. Austin Cindric, the actual Daytona 500 winner in 2022, will start on the inside of row 2. BJ McLeod will start on the outside of row 2, trying to play and make an upset here today. Chase Elliott and Cole Custer will be in row number 3. Row 4, Christopher Bell, Kurt Busch. Bell still trying to finish 2nd in the regular season standings. He's 18 points ahead of William Byron as of right now for P2, but again, cannot catch Kevin Harvick after an abysmal performance yesterday at Watkins Glen, and literally the best race Kevin Harvick has had all season long, going wire to wire. Kurt Busch, though, on the outside of that row, again, he is only 1 point to the good coming into the race today, and a lot of drivers that start ahead of him are below the cutoff line without a win, so he is going to need as many points as he can get, especially with Cindric, who's the next driver ahead of him in points that he will have to try to catch if we get a new winner. Cindric's already qualified ahead of him, so Kurt Busch not in a good spot right now. Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain will round out the top 10 in row number 5. Chastain, also a super speedway winner on the season. He won at Talladega back in the spring. Billy Kramer, Davion West, Dark Crypto, Emily Gangdadine, Wade Selinsky, NASCAR Fan 33, and others, welcome into the stream. And without further ado, let's get the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona underway. I almost said the Pepsi 400 because I'm so used to NASCAR 06 now. Alrighty. 35 laps in stage 1. It's going to be borderline whether we can make it on fuel or not in this first stage, but the green flag is going to be in the air. We are underway at Daytona. It's weird with no stability. I almost lost control there. They checked up going into turn 1. I got to remember they checked up going into the corners when it all bunched together. This is the first time in a while I haven't had any stability help in the car. I mean, at least getting up to speed feels fine. Gonna have a lights glitch at some point in this race, so that's another reason why I want to start at the back. Oh my gosh. We're having to downshift at Daytona. This is expert difficulty, by the way. They check up so much. They didn't damage the car completely, so that's good. I literally had to downshift going into turn 3 on a super speedway because they checked up so much at the tail end of the field. First lap is in, no caution though. So that's good. Bad news is Kevin Harvick's lost the draft. I gotta get used to not running with stability help on. Car's almost a little too free. Sandman, thanks for tuning in also. Not a clean start. Now, one thing is, now we can't save fuel because there's no drafting help in front of us, but there is a chance that we can make this on fuel in this first stage, which will be interesting to see if the drivers will end up pitting at the end of the stage or not. We're in this for playoff points only. Again, we are locked in with the regular season championship coming into the race today. So we can't lose any spots in the regular season standings. The only thing we're racing for is stage wins and race wins. I'm hooked to that apron. I could not get off of it. Slowing me down so much. It wasn't even, it's like I'm just above the apron, but it kind of sucks you down onto it. Even if you're not exactly touching that double yellow line. We have not raced at Daytona since the Daytona 500 when the update first started. Harvick definitely quicker than Noah Gragson.
Got one right.
You know what?
They're all around.
I barely touched him. I forgot how sensitive the cars are when you don't have stability on. I barely touched him. I don't know how I saved it. Not a good race for me so far. I mean, I picked my own poison by starting last. We got a long race, though. I'm not worried about it. And it's probably good that we're not in the pack, because if we were in the pack when we get the lights glitch, good luck. That's all I gotta say. No, I know I touched him. I'm saying I barely touched him, and my car just, well, spun sideways. I forgot I can't really bump draft in this game. Granted, I didn't hit him square anyway. But you would think the car in front would be the one that gets loose, getting hit in the left rear corner panel like that. Catch it right back up to him. Harvick's got pretty good single car speed. Big thing is just going to be staying out of trouble, keeping the car clean so we can keep the speed. We'll get around the 62 of Gregson. We finally made a pass. Denny Hamlin starting deep in the field, by the way, 36th. Kind of had a random qualifying order because there was no qualifying. I was going to say qualifying got washed out. It is Summer Daytona, so that makes sense, actually. Yeah, I saw the end of the Wings game. That 7-5, crazy. That last lap was actually Harvick's fastest of the day. Kind of the first lap he hasn't made any major mistakes. The problem is, though, he may be in danger of going a lap down. Really have to hope we don't get a caution. Because if we get a caution for incident at any point in time before Kevin Harvick has to pit, that's where he could really be in danger. Forgot the car kind of wants to go towards the right rather than the left at Daytona. That I do remember from the Daytona 500. I didn't remember until we started racing. I do not feel comfortable in a pack anyway. Atlanta I had stability help on, and I still won a couple of times in that race with contact. I'm 9 seconds behind Timmy Hill, who's in 38th right now at the tail end of the lead pack. I like how the commentators last night were talking about Villiuso actually having a good game. I'm like, he gave up 5 goals. How was that a good game? Did I watch the game from start to finish? No. Did I only catch about the last 10 minutes? Yes, but... I mean, I'm sure the defense wasn't, you know, cutting them many breaks, which led to the 5 goals, but... You give up 5 goals in a game, it's kind of hard to say you had a good game goaltending. They still won. That's all that really matters, but... It wasn't an easy night for him. Weird thing was, Detroit only had like 23 or 24 shots on goal. Still ended up with 7 goals. One of them was an empty netter at the end of the game, but still. I actually stayed up to watch the Suns and Warriors game after that last night. I had a 3-way single game parlay on the Suns beating the Warriors. And not only winning the game, but also winning the game by 11 plus points. And not only all of that, but the over-under I had over for total points. Smashed it, got it, $30 parlay, $1,700 payout. Crazy. I couldn't believe it. I only stayed up because at halftime they were up by 14. I'm like, man, they might actually pull this off. And sure enough, they did. 1 by 12. I called it. I do my background research when I do this stuff. With other sports too. I mean, I sit down for like a half hour just digging up facts. I'm like, all right, what can I do here? I basically flipped the spread the other way. And the only reason I did that, well, honestly, the only reason I went through with it is because when I put the bet initially in on FanDuel, the injury report on ESPN, or at least on the ESPN app, said Steph Curry was out. And they were playing pretty bad without him the last few games. They lost to some really bad teams, Pistons and the Magic, and I think they're both towards the bottom of the league. So I was like, all right, Suns are like around their level as far as record-wise, and the Suns are banged up too, but they also beat the Warriors the first 2 games of the season. They beat them by 11 plus points, so I felt 11 was like a good number for that reason. But it was all in the intentions that Curry wasn't playing. So then when Curry was a late decision to play, I was like, oh, shoot. I'm like, well, I guess I lost. But then as they were playing, you could definitely tell he wasn't himself. And it worked itself out. I lost the draft. I got a little loose. I made contact with the back of the 62, got loose off turn 4. lost the draft. I'm not too worried about it. Only 35 laps in stage 1. We have ran 10, so only 25 laps to go in this first stage. Should be able to make it on fuel in stage 1, so it's just a matter of trying to stay on the lead lap for the end of the stage. Still waiting on the lights glitch to happen. It is completely dark. I'm surprised the lights aren't on. Not sure what lap they're going to turn on. When they do, we just got to hope we don't wreck. I'm really hoping I'm on the back straightaway. That would be the best place to have that happen. It's a good thing we swept the stages and won at Watkins Glen last night and clinched the regular season title, because this is definitely not a good start for the game. I did start in last place also. I did not qualify. I just didn't want to qualify, be mid-pack. We're not running with stability help on today. Going to really challenge ourselves with already locking this regular season championship up. Gamer66, thanks for tuning in. Playing NASCAR Thunder 2004 today. Timberrun. Yeah, that's definitely one of the greatest fantasy tracks of all time in a NASCAR video game. Now, faintly, there are other cars that have lost the pack. I think we're actually closing in on Timmy Hill now that he's lost the lead draft. I do think if Harvick can get track position, he's going to have speed. So I am not worried. And this is actually good because I get to feel the car out. Which I know it's Daytona. You might say, well, feel the car out, you're going full throttle. Like, what is there to feel? Just the handling with this game is so sensitive when you don't have stability help on. And me not practicing before the start of the race because time constraints for myself to try to get the stream up. I felt it was going to be safer to start at the back. And if I lost the draft at the beginning because I was taking it too easy, so be it. We kept the car clean. Gotta hope it stays that way. I believe Bubba Wallace is still in the lead after qualifying on the pole. And again, he won the Daytona 500, so he's trying to go for the Daytona sweep today. Worst thing that can happen while we're at the back of the field right now is we end up getting a caution, which traps Harvick a lap down, but that is going to be dependent on exactly where he is when the caution flag flies. If he's on the side of the start-finish line that the leaders have already passed, we're going to have the lights glitch sometime soon. The lights have turned on, but the screen hasn't gone dark yet. This is definitely something they need to get fixed in the next game. I hope it happens right now while I'm on the back straightaway. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. I'm just hoping I'm not in the middle of a corner when it happens. I thought we were gonna have it right there. Closing in on Timmy Hill. And once he lost the draft, definitely faster than him. And those lights are right on the front stretch. My goodness. First look at Daytona under the lights on this game. For me, at least. I mean, many of you guys have probably already witnessed it. Harvick should be able to blow by Timmy Hill, go to the outside off the exit of turn 2, and clear him with a clean pass.
Clear.
He's actually catching Denny Hamlin, it appears also. Hamlin's the next car who had lost the draft, or is at least with a couple other cars. It looks like he's got 3 or 4 with him. Don't wreck, don't wreck, don't wreck. Oh, no, no, no! The light glitch got me. The lights glitch got me. Gotta stay on the apron. We can't get a caution here. Dang it! God bless America. We're a lap down. All because of the lights glitch. I tried. I couldn't see anything. I actually think I had it saved until the 66 got into the back of me when I was sideways. That's so stupid. I don't want to restart just to have that happen again either. Man. I hate this game. I hate this game. I hate this game. I hate this game. Have I mentioned I hate this game? Thought about pitting. I'm not going to pit. It's not going to matter. You know, we're a lap down. Most of the field's on the lead lap. There's only very few cars that would have gotten trapped a lap down there. Well, now we're going to have to be aggressive in the back this time. Hope we can get our lap back for the end of stage 1.
Still back speed. Still there. Clear, clear.
The check up so much. You got to check up even more into turn 3 at it. Well, no. Check up was more on the back straightaway that time rather than in turn 3. The car is extremely loose now after that spin. Yeah, I can't even hold on to the race car anymore. My tires are shot after that first spin. I'm getting loose at Daytona because my tires are shot. I mean, the good news is the car's not totaled. Start and park. Yeah, I mean, we already clinched the regular season title. What would we have to lose? I do want to see how this plays out, though. Obviously, because it's a cutoff race. And not so much worried about our position in the points, but there are a lot of drivers on the bubble that I'd like to see this race actually play out. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That lights glitch shouldn't even be a thing. The fact that that was like that on NASCAR 21 and they didn't get it fixed before the season update, like they haven't fixed that. And when the lights come on, the screen just spazzes out. Ridiculous. I want Tyler Burbeck, thanks for tuning in also. Yeah, so with the lights glitch, Kevin Harvick is a lap down. He's not the only car a lap down. At least Gregson and Timmy Hill are also lap down because Harvick was in 38th when the caution came out.
Only a few laps till we pit.
Little over a quarter tank of gas left. I would have thought these guys were going to be able to make it on field through stage 1, but maybe they can't. If they all have to pit, Harvick could stay out. That's one way he can get his lap back. And then just pit during the stage break. I'm hoping that that's what happens. Can't restart, it'll happen again. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the problem. The only thing is, we could hope that we would catch it on a straightaway, but I literally caught it going into turn 3. Like, I had no chance. I'm surprised I kept it off the wall, but that's why I was down on the apron in the middle of the corner, because I was just steering left just to make sure I wasn't going to hit the wall and blow a tire. Which would have been worse, because we would have had to pit. We would have had severe damage, and we would have been a lap down. At least in this case, we're only a lap down. We have to do this the hard way tonight at Daytona, it looks like. I mean, was it really going to be an easy way to try to win this race? Harvick finished 17th in the Daytona 500 at the start of the season. There's a lot of underdog drivers that qualified up towards the front of the field that are still there, like BJ McLaughlin 3rd, hanging in there strong. It's going to be interesting how pit stops are going to cycle everybody, though. I don't trust that Bubba Wallace is still going to be the leader. I mean, it could happen, but I'd like to think that the positions will end up changing quite a bit, especially for those that are in the draft. There's nobody right in front of Wallace for right now. I wonder if Denny Hamlin got trapped a lap down because he was one of the few cars that were in front of Harvick. And Harvick spun in the middle of 3 and 4 when the caution took place.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
If Hamlin's a lap down, though, that's pretty much going to eliminate him from having a shot of making the playoffs. Unless a couple drivers above the cutoff line DNF, which is possible, I guess. But even still, he'd have to make up 19 points, and there's not that many cars a lap down. Now, we could get more cars a lap down later in the race. Obviously, that was the first caution, and I'm sure it won't be the last. So, obviously, we know we're going to have 2 stage breaks. Our left rear tire is cooking right now. It's not that it's cooking under the green flag run. It's because of the spin. Multiple spins, really. The first spin, and then the couple slides/spins after the fact. Yeah, it's going to be close on fuel. We're down to 7 laps to go in stage 1. Pit road closes with 2 laps to go in the stage, so we're going to have to make our mind up here at some point. It's going to have to be a fuel-only stop just so I can stay 1 lap down. Got to be a splash and go. Under green flag conditions, at least. Tracy, you want to get as close to the yellow line as possible, obviously. That's the fastest way around the track. But if you get too close, it sucks you down in. And it's not like how in NASCAR 06 I'll have times where I clip the apron and it does it. I don't even have to clip the apron. There's like a vortex that just kind of sucks the car into it even though I'm not actually on the apron. I'm like just above it. And at certain points in the middle of the corner, it just turns me right down into it. Like Ross Chastain's up to 2nd place. At his home racetrack. Can't really save gas at Daytona when you have no drafty point. Nobody on pit road this time. 5 laps to go.
5 laps of fuel left.
Stage 1. Our crew chief is saying 5 laps of fuel left. No gear. Well, the good news is, so we have 5 laps to go in the stage, but because Harvick's a lap down, that might actually help him on fuel. Because he actually only has to go 4 laps, and the stage ends when the top 10 crosses the start-finish line, so he's not even going to have to go a full 4 laps. So I think he should be able to make it, but if everybody pits and he does have to run the full 5, I don't know that he's going to make it. But with us being a lap down, we should make it. I don't know if the field is going to pit during the stage break or after. I'm definitely pitting during the stage break, but if they don't pit during the stage break and they pit immediately following the restart, I'm going to have to hang out in the back. Because they're going to come to pretty much a complete stop at turns 3 and 4. And there might actually be a chance I could cycle to the lead then, with that being said. So that's what I'm going to hope for, because even though we'll be a lap down, we'll definitely get our lap back then if we don't get it before the stage. As long as they don't pit during the stage break, though. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It doesn't matter whether you're at the end of the pit window or not. If you're towards the edge of the pit window, they're more likely to pit, but they still don't always pit. 2 laps to go at the line. Bubba Wallace trying to pick up a playoff point. Remember, he's locked in with 2 wins, so this could be huge for him. I don't think he's going to finish in the top 10 in the regular season standings no matter what happens today, so he's kind of in a similar situation as Harvick is, just racing for stage wins and race wins to boost the amount of playoff points he has. Harvick currently, with that win last night, is now at 76 playoff points, but that's already with the regular season championship. So that was already adding the 15. Bubba Wallace is back to third, so he may have pit off turn 4 that time. I think we have to be committed to going. I mean, pit road's closed now anyway. And I wonder how many cars are going to pit. Will all of them pit before the end of the stage? Because it's the final lap this time by for the leaders who have not pit. And actually, there's nobody on pit road, so I think Wallace just got brake trained around. But he is not leading anymore.
Let me know when you're ready.
Leaders should be getting to the start-finish line at any given moment. Bubba Wallace back to 34th. I don't think he pit, though. Something happened to the 23 car, and I wonder if maybe he dropped the cylinder. BJ McLeod has taken the lead, though, as a result of whatever happened to Bubba Wallace on the second to last lap of Stage 1. Stage will end, and BJ McLeod will win Stage 1 at Daytona. I want to talk about an upset. If he can upset his way into the playoffs with a win, he's below 30th in points, but only by a little bit. We had to pull up that community tab post I had last night because he definitely has a shot to get inside the top 30, especially if he wins a stage like he did right now. He's going to make up a ton of points on whoever's in 30th. I don't have the full rundown on my Google Docs page, so that was my fault for that, but I do have it on the community tab. Or at least the playoff scenarios. BJ McLeod comes in 31st in points. He's only 3 points behind Ty Dillon. So he has already made up more than 3 points on Dillon in this stage alone. So as long as Dillon doesn't outscore him by literally 10 stage points to 0. So as long as Ty Dillon doesn't win the next stage and BJ McLeod fails to get stage points, if McLeod wins this race, he will be in the playoffs, which is wild. That is unbelievable. I mean, he's got a shot. I don't know how pit stops are going to work out for him. I don't know what happened to Bubba Wallace, though. He fell all the way back to 34th. I wonder if he may have DNF'd, and then 35th on back were a lap down, so we didn't actually catch him yet. So maybe he dropped an engine. Tough break, though, for Bubba Wallace, leading all the way through the stage, and may have just dropped out of the race. But whatever the case is, BJ McLeod wins Stage 1, Austin Cindric 2nd, Ross Chastain 3rd, Justin Haley 4th, Chase Elliott 5th, William Byron 6th, Christopher Bell 7th. Remember, those two are tight in a battle for 2nd place in the standings. Byron's going to be 17 behind him right now going into Stage 2. Kyle Larson ends up finishing 3rd in the stage. Daniel Suarez in 2nd. Chris Buescher rounds out the top 10. So I'm going to tally the points up real quick for all the drivers that are on the bubble at least. On the top of the screen. So after Stage 1, Cindric would have gotten 9 points. Almirola didn't get any. Kurt Busch just missed on stage points. Ended up 11th. Hamlin wasn't there. Austin Dillon wasn't there. Jones, McDowell. Jones and McDowell are going to be in a must-win situation now. So we're just going to erase them off our screen. So Eric Jones, Michael McDowell now in a must-win situation without getting stage points. They were both 54 back coming in. Kyle Busch didn't get any. Bowman. So I do believe Alex Bowman is going to be locked in on points because nobody below the cutoff line received any stage points, so he's still 42 ahead. No, you can still score 50, I guess, technically. Okay, so never mind. Bowman not locked in yet. But there's a good chance he's going to get locked in after Stage 2. Same goes for Kyle Busch. Cindric does get 8 points, though. No, 9 points, sorry. Cindric gets 9 points, so he will be 22 above the cutoff line. So, good start for Austin Cindric. He needed that. He has gapped Busch quite a bit. So Busch is really in a danger zone. BJ McLeod wins. Might see Kurt Busch miss the playoffs at the hands of BJ McLeod at this rate. So we will pit during the stage break.
Pit entry is red.
Yep, we will pit during the stage break. We'll see if anybody else comes in. It'll be 4 tires and fuel, no adjustments. NASCAR Cup Series 2311 Racing, thanks for tuning in. And, no, I don't plan on ever streaming or playing NASCAR Rivals. I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so I don't plan on going out of my way to get one just for that. Alright, so again, Harvick is a lap down right now. I do think he was the only car that pitted during the stage break. We have 34 cars on the lead lap as the green flag is going to be back in the air. And actually, BJ McLeod pitted because he restarts behind Harvick here. But I do believe everybody else in the field has to pit other than McLeod, potentially. Which is going to be interesting. Harvick is going to be prepared for a checkup. So he is already backing out of it. He's going to keep McLeod behind him just in case he is already pit. Harvick is expecting everybody to hit pit road here. They are slowing way up. And nobody is gonna... Nope, we do have cars pitting and we have cars around on the front stretch. Caution flag is out. So the yellow flag is out here at Daytona. The big one off of turn 4, really. Quite a few cars collected on the opening lap of stage 2. 60 laps, by the way, in the second stage as the green flag is back in the air. No, I haven't heard about American Park's outfield wall. So everybody probably pitted right then, which means Harvick is still going to end up being 2 laps down. I do think there were some drivers that made it past the start-finish line and might have lapped everybody again, so there's a good chance Kevin Harvick's 2 laps down. They might try to pit again, they might not. I'm not entirely sure here. Just in case, I'm backing out of it. We're keeping the car clean. Nobody pitting this time. Yeah, so they definitely pitted during the caution. They are checking up big time. I don't know what that was all about, but I'm glad I didn't blow a tire getting into the wall.
Clear, clear, clear. Rewind. Get down there.
I'm glad I didn't do it again.
One left.
They slowed up to like 150 miles an hour in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Good news is Harvick's passed some cars. I believe he is, yep, 36. So Hamlin in 35th. I don't know how he's going to get back into this. We've got cars pitting off turn 4.
All clear.
Harvick trying to find a hole. He found a hole. Go. Go, 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 go. Come on. I thought they all pitted. They did not. I don't know how he didn't wreck there. Some cars stayed out. I don't know how I didn't wreck. Oh, lowering the wall. Right center, I'd assume. It's the only one I can think of that would be 14. That's gonna look weird. So he used to go in there and that not being the case. Bubba Wallace in second. Garrett Smithley right behind him. I think Wallace pitted for the end of the stage. Harvick's going to cycle ahead of quite a few of these drivers for position. If we could have stayed up to speed, which was not going to be possible when you consider the fact that there were so many drivers. There were so many drivers that were in the way. There was no chance we were going to make it on the outside. We were already on the bottom, so... I mean, we were just thankful to get through there without wrecking. We had to go down to about 60 miles an hour to do so, but nearly had the big one. 2 restarts in a row. Sitting at 3 cautions. Harvick needs to stay in front of Bubba Wallace, so with Wallace being the leader. Kevin Harvick should be on the lead lap right now. Everybody will have to pit before the end of the stage because we still have 50 laps to go yet in stage 2. So everybody will have to pit at some point in stage 2. Harvick will have to definitely pit before everybody else. And again, Harvick's got speed. With the field singled out the way they are right now, I think that's going to help the 4. He is up to 21st after finishing dead last in stage 1. Now, I was passing cars obviously below the double yellow line, but everybody else was also below the double yellow line because they were trying to pit, so I'm not going to penalize myself for that. At speed, that'd be one thing. Arden just ran his fastest lap, that last lap when he had Bubba Wallace behind him. Really the first time Harvick's had any sort of drafting help today, but now Wallace is stuck with Cascarello and Maurice Hesmans in front of him. So that's why Wallace ended up finishing 34th despite leading almost every lap of stage 1 from the pole. It's because he pitted before the end of the stage. So that allows for Kevin Harvick to get back on the lead lap as long as he stays in front of him. We need this to stay green to the end of stage 2. Because if it stays green to the end of the stage, I think we should be able to finish on the lead lap and then we get into the final stage. And we've made up our lap already. We also have to have a fast enough pit stop that I cycle ahead of the 23. Which is going to be really dependent on how lap traffic is going to be for Wallace. Because he's got a fast car. He's definitely faster than us single car speed. Tell if we're closing in on Briscoe, Blaney, and Bush and those guys up there. There's only about 5 cars in that group, but they are not single file. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Yep, Wallace in first. I think he's got the fastest car. I'm just assuming with the fact that he started on the pole, nobody could pass him in stage 1 until he pitted. Couple laps to go in the stage. It was coming to 3 to go, or coming to 2 to go, so technically it wasn't a penalty. Garrett Smithley's in second, though. I'll tell you what, if Rick Ware Racing goes to victory lane in the regular season finale to get into the playoffs, I mean, BJ McLeod won stage 1. Let's not forget this. BJ McLeod won stage 1 today. On speed at Daytona. It just goes to show if you're in it, you got a chance to win it. And Harvick's done a great job keeping his car clean. Now, we didn't do well in stage 1, but again, it's just stage 1. We already won the regular season championship. It's only 1 playoff point, which, I mean, a playoff point is still a playoff point, but only 1 for the stage wins. The race win, though, that's 5. We're up to 21st right now, so we definitely made up some track position. I want to get towards the very front, though. I don't want to be in the middle when we start the final stage. I want to be at the very front or the very back. That's where we're going to feel most comfortable. But as of right now, we're right in the middle, which I don't like. I mean, it's fine for right now while we're by ourselves on the racetrack, but I just do not trust the AI on the ovals in this game, and without stability help, it doesn't take much contact, as we already saw Harvick spin once today. Though that was because of the lights glitch, which led to the contact, but still. Hasn't still holding that group up back there. Wallace is now 5.5 seconds behind Harvick, so that buys Harvick a little bit of extra time, plus a little bit of added leeway when you consider the fact, again, that everybody will have to pit. In stage 2 yet. We can really pit whenever we want to, as long as we get within the window. I get down to 25, 30 to go in the stage. Or, honestly, just split the stage in half, just go 30 and 30. That'd probably be ideal. Garrett Smithley, by the way, has passed Bubba Wallace for the lead. Billy Carjoy, thanks for tuning in. 13 likes on the stream right now, 27 people watching. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. Not typical pack racing at Daytona and NASCAR 22, at least after green flag pit stops. But we are racing at Daytona. This is the regular season finale, and Garrett Smithley currently leading the way after 50 laps of today's action, trying to upset his way into the playoffs for Rick Ware Racing. BJ McLeod won stage number 1. And if you're looking at the point standings at the top of the screen, that was at the end of stage 1. So stage points have been updated. And the only driver that is of any sort of possibility of pointing their way into the playoffs today that hadn't already pointed their way into the playoffs that got stage points was Austin Cindric, who finished second at stage 1 after starting third. He got 9 points, so he is now 22 points above the cutoff line. He came in plus 13. And Kurt Busch ended up 11th and barely missed out on the stage points by just 1 position. Almirola a little bit deeper in the field through that first stage. Again, 1 point is the difference between Kurt Busch and Eric Almirola. But that does not matter if we get a winner below the cutoff line. That would just knock Kurt Busch out, unless Busch could catch Cindric on points. But after Cindric outscored him 9-0 in the first stage and was already up 12 on him coming in, that's not good for Kurt whatsoever. Was really free fall in the last 3 or 4 races. Was about 80 points above the cutoff line, I believe, going into Michigan, which was the 4th to last race of the regular season. And it has been a downward spiral for that 45 team. And the former champ's in danger of missing the playoffs, as he did in real life in 2022. But though that was due to being sidelined from a concussion and not because of on-track productivity. It does sound like a jet dryer. I am not sure why that's the case. That's the in-car cam in this game for you, though. It does sound like a jet dryer. Jet dryer or power saw? A little bit of both. When those cars get side by side up there, though, I do think Kevin Harvick is slowly closing in on him. Communist Legos, thanks for tuning in. Sounds like a V6, but your ears are ringing. Yeah, sorry for anybody who has headphones in right now. I apologize. It usually sounds like this, but because you're off the throttle a lot more at other racetracks, it's not as noticeable as it is at Daytona or Talladega. Or New Atlanta. Wonder if they were playing with Power Saw development of the game. I mean, maybe. Like, this sounds like a race car engine, doesn't it? Yeah, let's use that. That's what their board meeting was. It was like, now what can we use as a sound effect? It sounds like the actual cars, because we don't want to actually use the actual car sounds for this game. We're trying to cut costs. So what is a way of being able to do that? Oh, I can bring my saw to work tomorrow. Johnny, that's a brilliant idea. Because a power saw, a DeWalt power saw sounds exactly like the next gen engine. Robin Hutchinson, thanks for tuning in. Live close to Talladega, awesome, man. Hopefully you make the trip once or twice a year. It's a blast. Been to many races, never mind. I didn't read all of that comment at first. Yeah, I've definitely... Talladega has really grown on me ever since I went there in person in 2020, and I've gone to one race a year since, so next year will be 4 years in a row. Can't wait. Likely going to the spring race this coming year, but I'm not entirely sure. He runs 2024 full-time to break Jeff Gordon's Ironman record. Are you talking about Kevin Harvick? Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I'm ready. Hit pit road in a few laps.
So Harvick is not catching up to the cars in front of him. I think they got to single file and they really started to pull Harvick with Harvick not having any drafting help. But the good news is that the leaders are behind Kevin Harvick as of right now. And Harvick on the lead lap, should be on the lead lap at 21st. We'll know for sure at the end of stage 2 if they'll be on the lead lap or if they'll still be 1 lap down. Because there's a chance we are 2 laps down with when that caution came out on the first lap of stage 2. We had the big one off turn 4. Might have had some of the leaders get to the start-finish line, but by way of how the leaderboard looks right now, and there are a few cars that haven't pitted because they either pitted during the caution or during the stage break, or before the stage break. I think McLeod pitted during the stage break. Quite a few other drivers, or I should say only really 2 other drivers pitted during the caution, and Bubba Wallace, I'm assuming, pitted a few laps to go in the stage. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now for the strategy purposes here. Calm by our standards in this race, but that means we can keep the car clean, which means we keep the speed in. And again, this is not a typical kind of Daytona race from a strategy standpoint, but Kevin Harvick feels he has a strategy that is capable of trying to get him his 3rd win in a row after dominating at Watkins Glen last night, leading all 90 laps, winning both stages and the race. And then the night before, getting a win at Richmond. Not so dominating fashion. Did have a lot of stage points, though. Finished 2nd in both stage 1 and stage 2. Ended up getting the win. Kind of had to come from behind there for a little bit in the early going of that final stage from 2 laps down to give himself a shot late. Worked the strategy out well, making it a 2-stop strategy in the final stage versus everybody else was on 3. Was able to help make up that time. Yeah, we did have a lighting glitch. That's why I fell a lap down, because I was at the tail end of the field. Then we had the light glitch, and then one of the couple cars I did pass, Timmy Hill, was behind me and got into me when I was sideways. I'm trying to keep it off the wall. I kept it off the wall, but then I clipped the apron in the middle of the corner. And then I had it saved, at least I think I did, until I had contact from behind. And that just helped turn me right around. Dale Jarrett driving adventure. Is that kind of like how they have the Richard Petty driving experience kind of thing? Like a similar thing to that? Cars going side by side again. I think Harvick may be slowly reeling them back in. I don't know that they're going to do it for long enough that Harvick will catch them before pit stops. I mean, it's possible Bubba Wallace is already pitted, considering he pitted before the stage break. Be interesting to see exactly where everybody will cycle. It'll be a 4-tire stop for Kevin Harvick. Taking fuel. We are halfway through stage 2 right now. Definitely within the window to be able to make it to the end. We'll go a couple more laps though, because we can. And then we'll pit. We'll try to see exactly how much more time we can make up, and maybe there's a chance Kevin Harvick can get inside the top 10 for the end of stage 2. I don't know how many cars are exactly in that pack ahead of us. That would be an interesting indicator. And it does look like they have caught a lot more cars, too. Might have caught up to the lead pack. Finally, after the green flag pit stops took place a while ago. Probably not, only because I haven't really heard of it. I know Rusty Wallace has one. Because they have it at, I live in Northwest Ohio, they have it at Toledo Speedway. Like once or twice a year. Like a week or two before ARCA goes there usually.
We got about 5 laps of fuel left.
Thought about signing up for it once. It's like a half-mile short track. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Petty still has his.
Okay, we have to pit next time out. Okay, we have to pit next time out.
I'll know when I get to the back straightaway if I'm going to want to pit this lap or the following lap. Harvick's catching up to that pack ahead of him with all the racing that's going on. I don't know if we're going to end up warping into traffic or not. It'd be nice to have a couple cars because I think Harvick would be much quicker. His fastest lap of the race is when he was with the fastest car in the field, Bubba Wallace, when he was behind him pushing Harvick. We will stay out one more lap. So Harvick will pit the following time by. He'll have the first pit box at the very entrance of pit road. So Harvick staying out one more lap. Taking 34 laps in this stage. Eric Almirola's cracked the top 10. He's up to 9th right now. Not sure if Kurt Busch is in the top 10 or not. Everybody's still going to have to cycle through pit stops one more time in the stage 02, so that'll be interesting. Harvick should try to help his teammate out as much as he can. Harvick trying to get as much time into the pits. He has nobody behind him, so he was really able to use quite a bit of the racetrack there. And on to pit road he goes. 4 tires of fuel for Kevin Harvick. A great pit road entry, and he is in. Clean stop for Harvick. There goes the leaders. That time by, Harvick was trailing behind. So Harvick going to be right back to being 1 lap down until everybody else pits. And make sure not to spin out coming out of the pits here. Ah,
Clear, clear.
almost paged him. That would have been absolutely terrible if I LePaged the field there. Oh no, so this is the pack actually that Harvick was just behind. He's a lot closer to him now. Not close enough to draft off of him, but he has slightly fresher tires. They get the racing enough, who knows, maybe Harvick's got a shot to catch. That was a pretty clean stop. That felt like a fast stop, honestly. We'll see how it's going to work itself out. We're not even halfway done with this race yet. Yeah, we have plenty of time to get back up through the field. I'm not worried about it at all. Once we get into the final stage and we have a good idea of, you know, where I'm at, then I'll start to worry. Potentially, again, depending on where I'm at. But right now, I'm not worried about it, honestly. I want to see where everything cycles. I think we have a good chance to cycle up ahead of this pack in front of me once they pit. And we're far enough behind them, which is actually a good thing, so that way I don't run into the back of them when they pit, because I almost did that at the start of the last restart, actually, when they all made their green flag pit stops. All but like 4 cars. Yeah, there's no rearview mirror for me to check to see if there's oncoming traffic. I was down on the bottom of the racetrack and noticed they were running side by side when they were closing up on me. Hopped down to the apron before I got into turn 1, luckily. They are definitely scattering all over the place, though, right now. I think AJ Allmendinger is leading the race. Always racing pretty good on the super speedways in the Xfinity Series. If Allmendinger can win, both Pauly cars will be in the playoffs if Allmendinger wins today, because Haley actually won at Michigan a few races ago to get his way into the playoffs. Would not have pointed his way in, so that was a big win for Haley. He's had a huge momentum surge since then. He's actually been in the top 10 all day today, finished top 5 in stage 1. These guys running side by side, not the whole pack side by side, but at the very front of it, and that's why they're slowing each other up enough for Harvick on pressure tires closing in. Tires don't typically matter at Daytona and Talladega, but I've noticed on this game they still do matter, and that's why I took tires. And it seems to be paying off right now, and only pay off more and more and more, especially if he can catch up to this pack. And they can pit at literally any lap. Just have to be aware of it. And also have to hope we don't get a caution that traps Harvick a lap down again. One car is on pit road. I saw BJ McLeod down into the pits. Again, he pitted during the stage break. Bubba Wallace is already pitted because he's in 20th. He pitted before the stage break. Harvick trying to get into the draft behind the 16th place car of Kyle Busch. Not quite close enough. Close, but not close enough. Again, gonna have to watch though, because they may pit this time off turn 4. I'm lifting. They might pit, they might not. They did not pit. I might have just lost quite a bit of time there. I'm almost kind of content with running where I'm at this far behind the pack. It gives me enough chance to try to avoid them if at all possible. Oh man, they're stacking up big time in turns 1 and 2. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, we're gonna catch them. We're gonna catch them anyway. I don't know about this. I really don't know about this.
3 wide, 2 down there.
Bush moved up right in the middle of the corner. Harvick backing up, not sure when they will pit. Kind of riding the brakes a little bit off turn 4. I don't know when they're going to pit. This is kind of slowing me up doing this, but I don't want to wreck. I don't need a caution. Kept the car clean all day. As patient as you're going to ever see me in any race. We're laid back enough to miss the big one at the beginning of stage 2. In a similar circumstance. Now we're far enough behind him. I feel a little bit more comfortable this far back. Still on the throttle all the way through the corner. Will we see cars pit off turn 4 this time? Nope, nobody pits this time either. I mean, we're waiting for him any lap. We're down to just 19 laps to go yet in stage 2. And 35th. I think there was one car on pit road we just passed. Big run in the middle of turns 1 and 2 here for Kevin Harvick. Gets to the inside of the 62 of Noah Gragson. Big run on Ty Dillon. Get a lift on the back straightaway. Kyle Busch almost making, actually might be making contact with Ty Dillon going into turn 3. Harvick on the very outside. One car pits.
3 wide, 2 down there. Got 1 left.
Oh my gosh, we didn't blow a tire there.
Got 1 left.
Did not blow a tire, but definitely had to check up. No severe damage on the Ford. He's going to pull back in line to get his speed up in the draft behind Briscoe. Only one car pitted, but that was enough to stack everybody up. It's a good thing Harvick was on the outside. He was able to dodge every car, but he could not dodge the wall. Luckily, he didn't hit it hard enough to cut a tire down. And there's no severe damage on the race car either. Gonna have to assume everybody else is gonna pit here this time.
Got 1 left.
Harvick to the outside of Briscoe. Kurt Busch in this pack as well.
All right, hold your line.
Will they pit? Harvick staying high. They do not pit. Harvick still passed a couple cars there. He's trying to get back down to the bottom. He clips Kurt Busch. He's gonna go back across the racetrack. Get down to the apron. Oh no, not that way. And we have a caution and the car is totaled. That was the worst thing that could have happened there. We crossed the start-finish line. But yeah, involved in the wreck. That was not good. I saw a hole. I waited too long to get in. If I would have moved down going into the tri-oval, there was room, but I waited too long. Wrecked myself. Now they're going to pit under caution. I'm going to be a lap down. Caused the accident, so we can't pit for fuel or tires. So Harvick around, bringing out our third caution of the day. Scratch that. Yeah, third caution. No, fourth. Fourth yellow. My bad. I forgot we did have a caution back in stage 1. So, green flag back in the air. Harvick's car's got some damage now. That's going to knock a lot of speed out of it. He hit the wall head on. Kind of a lazy single car spin.
Got 1 right. Clear.
But he is a lap down. Bit of a speed glitch going on there. The outside bump drafted Hesmans. Hopefully if Harvick stays in the draft, the car's speed is still going to be up. The speed glitch is not as bad as it was at Atlanta, at least. To the inside of Cole Custer. Allmendinger, who was leading for a long time in this stage, not leading anymore. So everybody in front of Harvick right now is one lap down, including Harvick himself. Hesman's going to be nice. He's going to get out of the gas and let Harvick back in line. Harvick got down to the bottom lane there. Just barely clinging on to Cole Custer. He's going to have a big run into turn 3. Looks to the outside, but Custer throws a block. Not sure exactly where the race leader is at in this group, but we do know that wherever the race leader is at, Harvick needs to finish ahead of him. We still might be a lap down at the end of the stage. We'll know, depending on what lap we get to when the stage ends. Every time Harvick goes to move to the outside, Custer moves up right in front of him. Made him pretty square that time. Both cars keep control. Custer pulling out of line on the back straightaway. Move back in line. Now he moves to the bottom, and Harvick stays on the outside. What a head of steam there by Kevin Harvick. And there was room up turn 4 to move down in front of McLeod, so up to 18th, race high. Even after wrecking. Bubba Wallace at 16th. Yeah, he got trapped a lap down pitting when he did also. Just couldn't allow everybody to cycle through. I'm surprised the leaders were staying out as long as they did. We know Wallace has probably the quickest car in the field. So in the draft, the car still has speed. The problem is single car speed, we're not going to have that anymore. Not with the damage. It's going to be hard when we get out leading this pack to actually hold on. Tough break. Harvick, the one really aggressive move he made all day today, and it bit him. Patient for the first half of the race. Until that one moment. Harvick should be the only one that will pit during the stage break. So that'll put us at the very tail end of the field again, which will be interesting. Name it Tui, thanks for tuning in. Ethan, also welcome into the stream. Harvick getting a nice little push from the 41 of Custer. Managing the throttle, just kind of staying patient right now, staying in line. No real incentive to passing the 15 and the 23 in front of him. All these guys got to finish a lap down, likely at the end of the stage anyway. Either that or at the tail end of the lead lap, and nobody's in position for stage points. Custer pulling out of line on Harvick. That might bite him. Oh, no, never mind. Actually, these 4 cars are breaking away from the rest of the field. Probably because they're staying single file. Should have right around 5 laps to go in stage 2. Bump trap launched the 15 car a little bit up ahead. Had to run on Bubba Wallace into turn 3, but he won't pull out of line.
One left. Clear, clear, clear. One left. All clear.
Smithley backing up to try to get a run on Wallace. Harvick didn't want to bump draft him in the middle of the corner. Big run for the 15 car. 4 pulls low, 41 goes with him. 15 down to side draft the 4.
3 wide, 2 outside.
I don't like how dangerously close he is to our car going into the corner like that. Wallace pulling down to the inside. Harvick clears Smithley.
Got one left.
Bubba Wallace a little bit of a push.
All clear.
The Hungry One, thanks for tuning in. Catherine H, also welcome into the stream. Four cars about 4.5 seconds roughly ahead. BJ McLeod, Harvick had a run into 3, gets to the inside of Wallace. He's going to clear him in the middle of the corner. I think Smithley went with him. No, he did not. Well, he might have, but couldn't clear the 23 like the 4 did.
Stay right. Only a few laps till we pit. Clear, clear,
Close
clear.
block there for Harvick on Wallace. He leads the pack with no rearview mirror. This stinks, honestly. Kind of guessing where they're at by sound as much as we possibly can. I'm surprised Harvick still has decent speed with the damage. It's not perfect. He's still lacking a little bit, but it's not bad. It might look bad. It looks worse than it is. Chase Elliott's been doing good with the next-gen cars on super speedways. So him winning the Daytona 500 this coming
Only
year
a few laps till we pit.
wouldn't surprise me. Has a win at Atlanta and Talladega. Booyah Yankees News, thanks for tuning in. Got 33 people watching right now, 20 likes. Again, hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. We're in the closing laps of Stage 2 tonight. Harvick has already won the regular season championship, clinched it after a win last night at Watkins Glen in the second to last race of the regular season. 4-car group has pulled away from the leaders. We're either going to finish on the lead lap or 1 lap down at the end of the stage. Not entirely sure if we'll be on the lead lap or not. I think we will be, though. I think because we finished ahead of the leaders there at the end of the stage, I do think we're on the lead lap. Now, I'm not sure exactly where the leaders were. If they were at the tail end of the pack or if they were like somewhere diced in the middle. But I think we'll be on the lead lap. Kyle Larson's going to go on to win Stage 2. BJ McLeod ended up actually winning Stage number 1. I would have to imagine that was McLeod's first stage win of the year. I'll check just to make it. Yeah, the first stage win of his career, really, for BJ McLeod in Stage 1. Kyle Larson's going to win his 4th stage of the season by winning Stage 2. William Byron 2nd. Alex Bowman 3rd. The Hendrick car is really taking over now. Chevrolet's 1 through 5 as Ross Chastain finishes 4th. 15 stage points for him today. Ty Dillon has a shot to try to win his way in to the playoffs. He is the highest running driver below the cutoff line right now in 5th. Ryan Blaney 6th. Kurt Busch with some much needed points. He ends up getting 4 stage points. He was only 1 point ahead of Almirola. Almirola did not get any stage points. Therefore, Kurt Busch will be 5 points above Almirola going into the final stage. Martin Truex Jr. is going to end up finishing in 8th. Chase Briscoe 9th. And Kyle Busch rounds out the top 10 in the stage. So I'll update the points once again at the top of the screen before we get into this stage. So Kyle Busch will have locked his way into the playoffs on points, as well as Alex Bowman with the stage points scored in this stage. And honestly, even if they didn't score stage points in this stage, based off of the drivers below the cutoff line not getting stage points, Almirola, Denny Hamlin, and Austin Dillon, who are the only drivers coming into stage 2 who had a shot to point their way in, none of them got any stage points today, so that helps Alex Bowman and Kyle Busch. So Bowman, Busch are locked. Cindric is plus 22, Kurt Busch plus 5, Almirola minus 5, Denny Hamlin minus 23, Austin Dillon minus 34. And again, if we get somebody below the cutoff line to win, that would, as of right now, bump Kurt Busch out. He's still 17 points behind Austin Cindric into this final stage. Cindric finished 23rd. He had 9 stage points in stage 1, but he definitely fell back. He's borderline being on the lead lap. I don't know how many cars are on the lead lap and how many aren't, but as of right now, the only guys in the top 10 below the cutoff line without any wins would be Ty Dillon in 5th, Chase Briscoe in 9th. And Kurt Busch on the bubble, obviously, as well as Kyle, but Kyle's in now. Blaney's in with no wins. I mean, Larson doesn't have a win yet, neither does Bowman, but they're both locked in on points. So that's what we're looking at going into stage number 2. We will pit, or stage 3 rather. We will pit during the stage break here at stage 2. 4 tires of field, no adjustments. And we'll hope for the best in the final stage. We should be on the lead lap. Not 100% sure. We could be a lap down still, but I think we're on the lead lap. Car still has speed despite the damage, thank goodness. Don't count Harvick out of this yet. We haven't even cracked the top 15 yet in this race, but we're just kind of, we're trying. I know I'm going to say we're staying out of trouble. We got into trouble once. We were very fortunate not to have severe damage. 65 laps in the final stage. Should be able to split it in half. We'll restart at 21st. Green flag is going to be back in the air. There are a couple cars that may have pit during the stage break with Kevin Harvick that are restarting behind him. You're definitely going to have to try to watch these checkups as much as possible. Now, we have to go. You can't really be patient anymore, and you just kind of got to hope for the best. I mean, you have to be patient in the sense you don't want to, you know, accidentally hit somebody in the wrong spot of the race car or anything of that nature. But if you find a hole, you got to go for it.
All clear. Got one right.
A lot of cars checking up in the middle of turns 3 and 4. It's going to allow Harvick to pick up a bunch of positions down to the bottom. Some not for position, though.
Clear.
Some are, some are not. That hole just opened up big time for Harvick, and he passed about 4 or 5 cars in the middle of turns 3 and 4 as they're getting up to speed in the pack at Daytona. Harvick has not won at Daytona the NASCAR Cup Series since winning the 2007 Daytona 500. We're going to try to erase that today. With a win, it would also be the 70th career win for Kevin Harvick. A better track to do that than the historic Daytona International Speedway. I wanted to pull the outside right there because I saw the cars kind of getting around me. Cody Ware going to make a pass on us, but I was also hesitant without the rearview mirror that I was going to pull up and wreck myself, and that probably would have happened. Get back by Cody Ware, though, through turns 3 and 4. There's about a half a second gap between Jones and 32nd, Ware and 31st. A lot of cars going double wide right now in the tri-oval. That's stacking these guys way up, heading towards turn 1. Really want to stay on that double yellow line. Managing the gas right now. Stenhouse up high. Don't want to go 3 wide down to the bottom. Gonna slide up in front of Ware, try to block the outside as best as we can. I don't want to even use the look-back cam because I'm afraid they're going to check up in front of me and I'm not going to have anywhere to go. Now we'll be on the outside, I guess. Not exactly where we wanted to be, but momentum kind of stalled out on the bottom. Now there's more cars on the inside on the tri-oval. Cody Ware going to get to the inside of the 4. A lot of cars checking up, though, on the bottom. They really bottlenecked in the middle of the trial. But now Stenhouse lifting on the outside. Old contact from the 77 of Balicki. Harvick desperately tried not to make contact. One car slides in line right behind him. Might have been the 62. 77 and 47 are just leaning on each other all the way through turns 1 and 2. Not a safe spot anywhere around this racetrack to be making contact like that. Big slingshot down to the bottom. Hole got closed up by Denny Hamlin on the outside. Harvick was able to make a quick lane change, gets by Hamlin and hopefully Balicki. Balicki, a little bit of a push from the 11 still. And he'll be able to hold clear of the 4. Harvick pulls up to stall out the 11. Cars checking up back on the bottom again in the tri-oval. Harvick.
2 inside, you're 3 wide.
Yeah, they're bottlenecking big time right now. It's the 3rd time I've scraped the wall today. Luckily, all 3 times I did not blow a tire. Stacking up in the middle of 1 and 2. Harvick staying on the gas. Now he burps it just a little bit off the exit of the corner. Full bump draft to LaJoy. Then a move to the bottom. LaJoy trying to block. Thinks better of it. Goes back to the outside. Harvick trying to lead this pack right now. It is split into 2. This group has definitely lost the leaders. Leader's going to have to pit twice in this stage, though. Harvick should make it on 1, so we'll really find out if we'll be on the lead lap or not. Gotta hope this stays green. We have not had a green flag stage so far. 1 caution for incident in stage 1 and 2 cautions for incident in stage 2. With the stage breaks, we have had 5 cautions total in tonight's race. Drop to Suarez in the middle of the corner. I have to imagine Chase Elliott's got a fast car, as well as Austin Cindric. So tempted to go 3 wide. Couldn't do it, though. Smithley's led laps today in the 15, but I don't think he's fast enough to really lead this pack towards the lead group. Honestly, if the 17 might even be quick on the bottom, but if the 2 and the 9 can lead this pack and we can get up there behind them, I think we could be a good group. Really start to pull these guys, and even Hamlin, I would have to assume, has a good car. No stability help on. Again, it does not take much contact. I'm going to go to the top real quick. Stall it out on the top, back to the bottom. Now he's 3.
3 wide, 2 outside.
Not a lot of space there. Had to give it up. Better removed by Harvick. Still had a little bit of contact with the 16. That could have been much worse. I backed up, got a big run. If Elliott could get to the outside. Harvick lane changing quite a bit. I'm not sure where I want to go. If Elliott could get to the outside, I think he's going to pull this outside around the 15. The problem is he hasn't really been able to do that yet. It is tight. Dillon likely going to get by Harvick on the outside. Clears him. Harvick just gets underneath him again, though, into 3. Dillon had a chance to move down. Harvick was going to let him in, and then he didn't go, and Harvick decided to stay in the gas. I am really feathering the throttle a lot in the middle of the corner, though, just trying not to make contact with anybody. I don't even want to bump draft anybody. Oh, boy. Head of steam, Corey LaJoy. I was about to move down there, too. I lifted as soon as I saw him. He goes to the bottom. Harvick to the top. Harvick to the outside of the 3. Smithley's still blocking these guys. Harvick didn't feel like he had a lot of grip there with that bump draft. Finds Suarez just back to the bottom in front of LaJoy. This is sketchy. I'm surprised I've held on for 9 laps. Elliott, no, he did not. Somebody got around the 15. It might have been Busher. Yeah, Buescher got around him. I think he can lead this group up there. I got to get to the 17 car. I think he's going to pull the 15. I don't know how we're going to do it. We got to find a way to do it. To the top, Dylan tried to block. Harvick trying to be just a little bit more aggressive.
3 wide, 2 down there.
Doesn't want to go 3 wide to the top. That's too aggressive. All right, there we go. Allmendinger hung out to dry immediately on the bottom. Elliott tried to get by the 15, but he went down to block the 9. Big run on the top still by Harvick.
Got 1 left. 3
He's
wide,
not
clear up
lifting.
top, clear all around.
What a run by the 4. But now he doesn't have any help anymore, and he's going to stall out. Finds a hole in front of McLeod right behind Elliott. Elliott trying to get to the outside of the 15 again. Yeah, Hamlin is going to end up missing the playoffs, honestly, the way it's looking right now in 37th. I think he's trapped a lap down and has been ever since that first caution in Stage 1. He didn't qualify particularly well, had to start deep in the field, and that instantly hurt him. Harvick, another run on the outside. Right behind Chris Buescher. Pulls to the bottom, had a run. Heck, screw it. Harvick's going to lead the pack as he's up to 17th. Buescher 24th. I think he's the cutoff. I think 23rd on up is on the lead lap. And then 24th on back is a lap down. That's what I'm thinking at least. Or they're 2 laps down and we're 1 lap down. That's certainly possible. I don't know how, but we got through that pack. The top 16, though, have pulled away. All the lap cars and then lead lap cars 17th through 23rd in this group right now, and Harvick made his way from the tail end of it all the way to the front. But yeah, I mean, that's crazy. If you would have told me Denny Hamlin was going to miss the playoffs on the season before we started it, I wouldn't have believed you. But he is going to miss it. I mean, there's no way he can make up a lap at this point. There's no free pass in this game. No wave around. 1 car on pit road right now, I believe. I don't know who that was. Maybe Bubba Wallace. He's been one of the first cars to pit today. That'll cycle Harvick to 16th. And we'll know exactly if Harvick will be the leader when everybody cycles through or back on the lead lap. But regardless of the fact, though, Kevin Harvick in pretty good shape right now if this stays green to the end. That's a big if. Again, we haven't had a caution-free stage today. Way more comfortable in the pack now than what I was before. Started the race, I would not have been making those moves. I mean, there's a reason why I did not make any moves until like the end of stage 2. I just did not feel confident with this game, but as sketchy as that was, we did get through it. It's going to be a little bit longer for everybody else pits yet. Actually, I think there were some cars that pitted out of that pack behind us because it split everybody up, and it's now just the 4 and the 17 pulling away. And Elliott has got through. I think Smithley pitted because he was on a similar pit strategy to the 23. The 78 also, he was towards the front of that pack, so I think they slowed everybody down. We're going to have to go 33 laps before pitting. I think we were able to go 34. We should be able to make it on 1 stop. We definitely got to push both runs out. That's another thing, too, though. The cautions really burn the fuel quite a bit in this game. I wouldn't know whether to pit or to stay out if we get a yellow, honestly. Alternate through the different camera angles one more time in today's race. BJ McLeod just coming out of the pits. 23rd just up ahead. Chris Buescher in the draft right behind Kevin Harvick still. Two should catch BJ McLeod. Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez are running down the 17 and the 4. I think Elliott's got a strong car. I mean, obviously, as Hendrick Motorsport counterparts finished 1, 2, 3 in that last stage. He was the only one not to finish inside the top 10, let alone in that top 5 in stage 2. Larson got the stage win. Another car getting up to speed down on the apron. EJ Allmendinger led laps earlier, but unfortunately back at 36. Likely not going to win this race to move on to the playoffs anymore. Elliott tries to pull out a line. Suarez stayed on the outside behind the 17. It looks like the 9 will get back up in front of both of them. Allmendinger still trying to get up to speed in turns 3 and 4. Harvick will get by him on the outside.
Clear.
And it looks like Allmendinger is going to split the 99 and the 4 up just a little bit here. Yeah, it's a little crinkled.
Car right.
Massive run on the back of McLeod once we caught him in the draft. Smithley's another 2 seconds ahead. Eduardo Bruno, thanks for tuning in. This would be insane if we could win 3 races in a row in this game. It is possible, though. At the tracks that we would have done it, if you would have told me we were going to win at Watkins Glen and Daytona the last 2 races of the regular season, I would have said, you're joking, considering the road course glitch we know when we pit under green and take tires. Surprisingly didn't happen at Watkins Glen. It happened at every other road course we raced at prior to Watkins Glen in the season. And the fact that outside the traditional super speedways, Daytona and Talladega on this game, haven't had a top 10.
Clear.
17th in the Daytona 500, 19th at Talladega. First and second in both Atlanta races, but kind of a hybrid. We did have to come back from a couple laps down in both races, one to win and then the other to finish second. Just because of scoring glitches in the game. Harvick's in 15th though. First time he has been in the top 15 all race long. You also got to wonder though, yes, he's able to stay out right now, but that lead pack obviously pulled away. And if Harvick isn't going to have any drafting help, they're going to catch him at some point in time. You'd have to imagine. It's just going to be whether or not Harvick's pit crew needs to have a good, fast, clean stop. Harvick has to have a good pit road entry when he makes his one stop in this stage. He's going to have a tire disadvantage too when that happens. It does make a difference in the handling. Smithley, McLeod hanging on in front of this pack of cars. They are closing in fast on the 4 of Harvick. Again, didn't have any drafting help. And he blew around the 15 and the 78 once he caught him. We're going to have to pull up to the outside right in front of him. Kind of hoping they stay in line behind him. Some of those cars in that pack are going to have to pit soon. We know the 15 and 78 are going to stay out. They'll probably be able to keep up with the 4, but the other drivers behind them, on the other hand, like Suarez, Elliott, Buescher, they're all going to have to pit. Buescher pulling in this time. I think Elliott stayed out along with the 99 of Suarez. Saw a couple other cars on pit road. That will move Harvick to 12th. We have about 45 laps to go in this race. I will say we avoided the big one earlier, which could have added even more damage to the race car. And that was before we even had this damage. That one moment where I spun in the tri-oval after making contact with the 78, just trying to force my way down the line at the end of stage 2, that is the only mistake I've made this whole race. I've not made any other mistakes on my own. Obviously, we had the light glitch, but I'm not blaming myself for that one. Here's Buescher in 33rd. Bottom of the racetrack. Again, he just pitted that last lap. Thought Smithley was going to try to get to the outside of the 4 with a push from that 78. Couple of Ford Mustangs right behind another Ford Mustang of Harvick. I don't think they're quite as fast with just the two of them when they had some of the faster cars like Elliott, Buescher behind them. Even Suarez. Chevys have been really fast today.
Top 10. Give me some more.
Harvick now in the top 10 for the first time today, and he will lead. So we were on the lead lap at the end of stage 2. We were a lap down at the beginning of it. We were able to make it up. That smooth finish to stage 2, and now a smooth start to stage 3, staying out of trouble. Kevin Harvick is the race leader. Chase Elliott just coming out of the pits, trying to get up to speed right now in 20th. He is the last car in the lead lap. Smithley, McLeod, the first 2 cars a lap down right behind Harvick. But again, though, if the leaders are together, they have to be making up time on Kevin Harvick, you'd have to imagine. Harvick catching a little bit of a draft off the back of the 9 of Elliott towards the end of the back straightaway, and he's got a run on the 9. Right in the middle of turns 3 and 4. We'll see if Harvick can get underneath him off the exit of turn 4. Elliott does not go down to try to block. And actually the 15 of the 78 going to go with the 9. Which is interesting. We're back with the Part Chase Cam for the remainder of the race. 41 laps to go. Harvick should get a run again. A big one was on the very first lap of stage 2. Off the exit of turn 4. Harvick going to try to go to the outside this time. Not going to happen. I lifted. I need to try to not make contact with Elliott there.
I'm ready. Hit pit road in a few laps.
A little over a quarter tank of gas left still for Harvick. Yeah, I need to not do that. Don't ask me how I did that, because I don't know. Yeah, that was the only big one.
Only a few laps till
I
we
say that was the only multi-car wreck we've even seen today. We were actually just talking about that on stream a couple weeks ago. I can't remember, what was it, like 66, 67? Bill Elliott's age. Giving the 9 of Elliott a big push going into the tri-oval. It was on the flat part of the front stretch, though, so he was all right with pushing him there. Back out of it into turn one. Don't want to overdo it. Problem is, Elliott may be trying to hold up Kevin Harvick in hopes that one of his three teammates could get up there and end up catching the 4. Bubba Wallace and Cole Custer being ran down right now by the 9 and the 4. 4-car group again. Again, have to try to get to at least 34 laps to go to be able to make it on field to the end. And, I mean, we're pretty close to that. Just a few laps away. We're at 37 laps to go right now. Really getting way out ahead of Harvick. Harvick lifted quite a bit going into 3. Didn't want to bump trap the 9. The 9 was able to pull away, and now a push from McLeod and Smithley to the back of the 4 of Harvick. Not a big enough of a run that he's going to really have a chance to get by Elliott here. Be interested where Elliott goes. Big run by the 9 on the back of the 23. Harvick's going to go low much earlier than Elliott. He'll get to the inside of Bubba Wallace. Okay, that is a little close for comfort there. Wallace trying to side draft Harvick. Harvick trying to stay away from him. Now he's on the inside of his teammate Cole Custer. And Harvick will lap them all. 16 cars on the lead lap. Truex the next one up ahead all by himself.
One left.
Custer trying to get back to the inside of the 4. Not going to happen.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps. Clear, clear, clear.
Harvick will be giving up the lead here very shortly. His picker's going to have to make a fast stop.
About 5 laps of fuel left.
Wallace pulling out a line to the outside. Nobody went with him. Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace went to the bottom of Cole Custer on the back straightaway with the 4 of Harvick staying low. Surprised at 41. Didn't just try to go with him. I wonder if he thought he had enough momentum. Was just trying to get to the outside. Still gets down in front of the 9 car though. Harvick stays out again. We just gotta make sure we don't get ran over when I try to pit. That's another thing.
We got about 5 laps of fuel left.
Should have plenty of time to get down to the apron off the exit of turn 4 and get out of everybody's way. We will not be pitting this time by. Right at 33 laps to go in the race. Joseph Bryant, thanks for tuning in. The final stop of the day for Harvick. Again, 4 tires and fuel will be taken. And whether we get a caution or we stay green to the end, the plan is to stay out
All right, bring it to us this time. Bring it to us this
to the
time.
very end of the race. Yeah, I mean, again, we haven't really seen much of them today, but Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, 5 points apart from each other. That's going into the final stage. The points at the top of the screen for those of the bubble drivers are updated at the end of stage 2 today. So that is based off finishing position only. Almirola has to beat Kurt Busch by 5 positions to get a tie. Tiebreaker is the best finish of the season. I'd have to go back and look at that stuff. Harvick stays out at least one more lap. Has enough fuel too, just in case we get a caution. That way he doesn't have to make a green flag stop. Wall's going to get by Cole Custer. He's got a much faster car, I do believe. And he qualified on the pole. Probably has the fastest single car speed of anybody here. Back to the outside to block the 23. Had a run. Custer down to the bottom, trying to get underneath the 23 car. Harvick will pit this time by. Gonna have to make this clean. We'll have 30 laps to go when he comes off of pit road. And he's got to make sure not to speed either. Looks like it's gonna be a pretty good pit road entry. Easily gets down to pit road speed. Probably could have even pushed it a little harder. 4 tires and fuel for Kevin Harvick as he'll slide into his box. This is the money stop. Everybody else will still have to pit one more time yet. This is Harvick's final stop. And away he goes. Those are the leaders right there. Harvick gets up to speed. It'll be interesting to see exactly who he'll end up drafting with.
Car right. Clear, clear.
I think he's quite close enough to the back of the 19 to be able to draft off of him. And it looks like Bubba Wallace leading this next group, which is exactly the same group that Harvick was in to begin with. Now he'll be racing for position with him. And nobody can make it to the end except for Kevin Harvick on fuel. Just got to stay green through the green flag pit stops one more time. And hopefully green after the fact. We're going to go up to block Wallace off turn 4. He'll stay in front of him. Should be able to catch Truex here almost any moment. Should catch the 19 on the back straightaway. Big run for Harvick. Wall's pulling out of line much earlier, but maybe a little too early. Harvick down to the bottom now into turn 3. Make a pass for 15th. Good job by Truex hopping in line in front of Wallace. I wonder if Wallace just kind of let him in, though. I wouldn't say mistake-free day from Harvick. Again, he made that one mistake towards the end of stage 2, but that was it. Very fortunate to still have at least enough speed in the car to be able to be competitive not only in the pack, but in front of the pack. It's going to be a little bit here before everybody ends up hitting pit road again. Just going to have to wait this out. Truex and Walls keep swapping positions back and forth quite often. Eric Almirola is in 11th place right now, so that means based off of where he is running, Kurt Busch would have to finish 17th or worse for Almirola to get in without a tiebreaker. A couple cars on pit road that time. Harvick to 14th. Only one of them was for position. Unless Kurt Busch is in the top 10, which he was 7th at the end of stage number 2. So it is very likely he's in the top 10. We're also not 100% certain. I think I see the lead pack up there, though. Harvick's closing in on all of them. This 4 to 5 car group has stayed much more organized, I will say that much. Truex to the outside of Harvick. He's going to get there. No chance for Harvick to block that. Wall's going to get there also. Oh no, there's contact. Harvick ends up clipping the grass. Makes a great save. Car never got completely sideways, but it was a little bit of a wild ride. Walls kind of came down middle of the back straightaway, knocked the 4 car down below the double yellow line. Harvick was staying on the bottom, and he was just going to let everybody kind of get around him on the top. He didn't give him enough room. Chase Elliott's got a head of steam now.
Got one right.
Harvick's still trying to get his momentum back. He'll be able to slide in line right behind the 9, though. In 18th place. I mean, we're catching the leaders. Well, that other group still is, but this guy's a little bit behind. 4.5 seconds is the difference between BJ McLeod in 16th and then the 17th place car of Chase Elliott. Elliott's got a really fast car, though. Harvick gonna push him. All right, as long as he hits him square. Harvick to the inside of Elliott into 3 and 4 anyway. I almost wonder if Harvick's a little bit quicker leading the pack.
Clear.
We'll clear Chase Elliott off the exit of turn 4. Elliott back in line right in front of Garrett Smithley. "22 laps to go in the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona. The regular season finale on our NASCAR 22 season playthrough. Harvick's currently in 17th. He made up that spot on Elliott the last lap. Elliott back to the outside.
Clear.
Harvick in line in between the 15 and the 9. Back down to block the 15 to the bottom into turn number 3. Again, everybody will have to pit. Another reason why I kind of want to leave this group, just in case any of these guys pit at any given moment.
One left.
Harvick to the outside of Chase Elliott, heading towards turn 1.
Clear. One left. Clear.
I do not like that. Is it me or did it look like he came up? I thought he came up a little bit.
Stay right. Still inside. Clear, clear. Got one left. Low. All clear. Stay right. Clear all around.
Can't get around him. Top or bottom. Alright, so try to pull Larson at Auto Club, yeah. He did a good job.
Car right.
Yeah, he only gets mad when people do it to him.
Still next to you. Clear, clear, clear. Got one right. Got one right.
Side by side, but Harvick's on the bottom now.
All clear.
Okay, now he came down into me. That was similar to what happened with Bubba Wallace on the back straightaway.
Still next to you. All right, hold your line. All right,
Harvick got clear.
All right, hold your line. Clear,
There'll be
clear, clear.
room back behind him again, though. There was a 4.5 second difference between the 9 and the 78. Now it's about 6.5 to 7 seconds. I'm assuming you're in the chat already, but welcome to the stream also, Patrick.
Stay
Over
right.
to the outside. Want to go to the outside just in case he pits. We saw Bubba Wallace pit. And I believe the 15 car just pitted that last time into turn. Off of turn 4. Oh, Harvick getting through 1 and 2. Big bump draft to the back of the 9. Got a bit loose in the middle of the corner. Harvick didn't hit him completely square. Knocking the fenders off him.
Car right. All right, hold your line. All right, hold
And
your
back
line.
to the inside.
All right, hold your line.
Side by side between Harvick and Elliott.
Clear, clear, clear. Got one right.
And
Clear,
Harvick
clear,
will be clear finally of Chase for 16th in turn 1. Well, 3.5 seconds behind Cole Custer and BJ McLeod. Harvick to block Elliott. But Elliott now in his rear view for whenever he ends up hitting. And really the big question at this point is, will we stay green to the end of the race? BJ McLeod will pit now off of turn 4. Harvick back inside the top 15. We're down to 16 laps to go in the race. Hope is that Kevin Harvick should be able to cycle to the lead. Just needs it to stay green to the end of the race, and Harvick should be able to win this one. Four-car group all of a sudden, too, as Suarez and Buescher have come up out of nowhere to catch the 9 and the 4. Now they're going to catch the 41 of Custer up ahead with a lot more pace. And you can see the lead pack not too much further up the way as well. Harvick to the outside of his teammate Custer.
Car low. Clear, clear, clear.
Elliott was going to stay behind the 4. Must not have felt comfortable enough as Custer pulls back to the outside right in front of the 9. Suarez hops out. 9 went down to block him, and now Suarez back to the outside, and Chase couldn't get up there in time. Truex is about 5 seconds ahead, but he has caught the lead pack, I do believe. So the lead pack is right up there with the top 13. Could cause a wreck when they pit, and I really hope it doesn't. We need this race to stay green to the end. It's the best chance that Harvick's going to have of winning. There is a chance we can get trapped a lap down depending on where the race leader is versus Harvick if we do get a caution. And because of that pit road being on the front stretch, that's where it could really be dangerous. Harvick going to stay out of the pits regardless if we get a yellow or not, overtime or not. Try to keep track position. Big run on Garrett Smithley off the exit of turn 4. Will get to the outside of the 15. Got a car pitting just up ahead. No, never mind. The way the shadows were going into the lights, I thought there was a car or two pitting. Eyes be deceiving me. Tommy H, thanks for tuning in. Sad to hear, man. Condolences. That pack has mostly gone to single file. Again, they could pit at really any given lap. From now to the finish, we'll have 12 laps to go at the line this time by. And they do have a few pitting off the exit of turn 4. They are scrambling around right now, and Harvick's got a huge head of steam, and he's going to have to check up and hope he doesn't get ran into from behind.
3 wide, 2 outside. Stay left. All right, hold your line. All clear.
Well, he caught him. Now he's going to be in the pack when they try to pit, which is going to be interesting. Yeah, I do not like this at all. Harvick checking up off the exit of turn 4. Nobody pulling into the pits here. Better safe than sorry. Back in this second group up behind the leaders again. Only 3 cars behind the 4 of Harvick. All it takes is 1 car out of that pack to pit. And if the big one happens, Harvick probably wants to be far enough behind to miss it. He knows they have to pit, so he's not having to push to get through it right now. Slowing up quite a bit into turns 3 and 4 again. Harvick has a head of steam. Will anybody pit this time? Yes, they are pitting. Harvick into the wall, trying to scatter around everyone. Good grief. Luckily didn't blow a tire. The 5th time I've hit the wall today, and that might have been the hardest. No major damage on the 4, but now he's in the pack. Bunch of cars in front and behind him. I think there was a car coming out of the pits up ahead that kind of stacked everybody up. Everybody moving up out of line. Harvick to the outside of the 24. This is where he wants to be for when everybody pits. And nobody pits in the pack that time. Harvick lifted in anticipation, almost chopped off his teammate at 14. Now he does, but he's clear. 9 laps to go. Big run in turns 1 and 2 for Harvick. Outside lane stacked it up a little bit.
Got one right. 2 on the outside. You're 3. Still next to you.
Harvick doesn't want to be down on the bottom right now.
Clear all around. Stay left.
Check it up.
Clear, clear.
Oh, and we've got cars spinning.
You're in the middle here.
Harvick gets through it, cautions out. Oh my gosh. Talk about having to lock him up. You got about 3 cars spinning out right in front of Kevin Harvick, who had nowhere to go. Split the gap right up the middle, and the yellow flag is out with about 9 laps left in this race. Jeez. I don't know how I got through that. The 24 hit the 48. I don't know who that was that spun in front of that. I need to look at the replay on my end. How did we miss that? They just kind of split around us. That was a lap before. Wow. Well, we're going to have a late race restart in this one. 24 got in the back of the 48, but somebody got into the back in front of the car in front of Bowman. There were 2 cars in front of the 48 in that checkup. I'm trying to see who it was. Oh, it was like 3 cars ahead. Haley got into the back of the third, or Haley got into the back of Blaney, and I think turned him around. I don't know if the leaders got to the start-finish line before the caution came out. If they did, we're going to be a lap down. It wasn't me, though. It was not me that got involved there. And Harvick going to be in 6th here on the restart. Green flag is going to be back in the air. 2, make that 3. 3 laps to go at Daytona. They may have to pit, they may not, I don't know. 3 laps to decide it. Larson is the leader. Harvick may be on the lead lap, he may not be. Almirola's in 6th. If Almirola finishes 5 spots ahead of Kurt Busch, he will get a tie. 6 spots ahead, he'll be in the playoffs. Can't afford to lose any more. Contact between Blaney and Busch heading into 3. Harvick scrapes the wall. He was trying to get to the outside to avoid everybody, and he's going to lose a lot of momentum. Hangs on to the race car. Will these guys pin in front of him? They will not. 2 laps to go at Daytona. Firing. Oh, no, never mind. White flag's in the air. We're a lap down. It was an overtime restart. Green-white checker, but we are a lap down, unfortunately. Into 5th. I don't know how many cars are in the lead lap. Larson still leads. Will anybody be able to make a move on the 5? Chastain going to pull out a line on the back straightaway. Not sure if it's for the win or not. Big run by Kevin Harvick down on the bottom of the racetrack. Almost gets chopped off by Kyle Busch as he battles in for 3rd. Coming to the checkered flag. Oh, they're pitting. Larson and Chastain are pitting, coming to the checkered flag. Harvick is in 3rd. That's weird. There's no way we're going to win this thing. We missed them. I don't know what's going on here. They're pitting in overtime on the last lap. Harvick is in 3rd. We just have to wait when we cross the line. I don't know exactly where the pit boxes are for the 5 and the 1. Who were the only 2 cars on the lead lap. Well, we'll be coming to the checkered flag this time. We have an extra final lap. They had to have made their way off pit road already. I don't know who won. It was either Larson or Chastain. Whoever's got to pit road the first. Whoever got to pit road quickest ended up winning, and it was Kyle Larson by a half a second. Kyle Larson has won at Daytona. Yes, Larson wins on a super speedway. His first win of the year, giving us 10 different winners. He was locked in on points coming into the day. So nobody will clinch on wins today below the cutoff line. And Eric Almirola had to beat Kurt Busch by at least 5 positions to tie and by 6 to get the final spot. Almirola finishes 5th and Kurt Busch will finish in 12th. So that means by just 2 points, Eric Almirola will advance into the playoffs over Kurt Busch. And Busch's mere 80-point advantage 4 races ago disappeared. Fails to get another top 10. Outscored Almirola in the stages, but only came into the race 1 point ahead of him. And into the final stage, Almirola had to win by 5 positions, and Almirola's going to get in by 2 points over Kurt Busch. Denny Hamlin was way below, as well as Austin Dillon. Nowhere close to those two, so pretty easy. Well, actually, hang on. Austin Cindric. Hang on a second. We got to find out where Cindric finished. I kind of forgot about him. So Almirola beats Busch. Almirola's definitely in. But now we have to find out where Cindric is going to end up finishing, because Austin Cindric is 22 points ahead of Almirola. Almirola beats Busch by 2, so he was 17 ahead of Kurt Busch. So if Kurt Busch finished 17 positions ahead of Cindric, which he did not, Cindric ended up 16th, only 4 spots behind Kurt. So yeah, definitely one of the weirdest finishes we've ever had in channel history. They pitted coming to the checkered flag and still won. So, yeah, Kurt Busch only would have gained 4 on Cindric out of the 17. So, Austin Cindric advances by 13 points. And then Eric Almirola advances by 2 points. Both Almirola and Cindric will be racing for a championship still. They will be in the 16-man playoff field. Notable drivers to miss would include Denny Hamlin. An abysmal day today. Trapped multiple laps down early in the race. Looks like Garrett Jones DNF'd at the end. So we had 1 DNF. Just 3 cars finished on the lead lap. We had well more than that on the lead. I mean, we probably had, I think it was, what, 23 cars on the lead lap before that last caution came out. It was luck that we were able to miss the wreck, but unfortunately, Chastain and Larson were on the other side of the start-finish line when the wreck happened, so that's unfortunate. We needed it to stay green to win, and unfortunately, it did not stay green, and we didn't win. I knew if a caution came out, it was going to be tough to win the race because of a potential scoring glitch, and that's what happened. That's unfortunate because it looked like we were going to have a good shot at this one. But yeah, Larson gets a win on the super speedway. Ross Chastain finishes 2nd, Kevin Harvick 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th, Eric Almirola 5th, Christopher Bell 6th, Ty Dillon 7th, Cole Custer 8th, Bubba Wallace in 9th, William Byron rounds out the top 10. I do believe Bell's going to end up finishing 2nd in the regular season standing still. Pretty close with Byron. Byron beat him in the stages, but not by enough points total, and ended up losing 3 in the final stage. So Bell will end up finishing P2. That'll be 9 playoff points for finishing 2nd. I'll have the playoff point grid up on the channel tomorrow, and then we will be starting the playoffs on Monday with the Southern 500. Tomorrow night we'll be doing our Throwback Thursday stream. We'll be watching an old Daytona 500 leading you up to the start of the NASCAR season. So that will be tomorrow, and then Friday night, we'll get back to the video game side of things. We'll end up live streaming some NASCAR 06. I believe we'll be Truck Series. Yeah, Truck Series at Kansas at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NASCAR 06 right here on the channel on Friday. That'll be the next video game stream. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the start of our Daytona 500 watch-along live stream, though. And we will be rewatching the 2012 Daytona 500 tomorrow. We'll skip some of the red flags. I think we can... I don't want anybody to spoil in the chat, but we all know why there were red flags in that race, or at least a major red flag in that race. Other than rain on Sunday, we'll just go straight into the Monday portion of the race. But that's going to be it. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Appreciate the support, as always. Road to 5,000 subs. Road to become a NASCAR commentator for future real races down the line, of course. That's the end all goal of the channel. Live commentary streams coming up in less than a month with the LA Clash at the Coliseum. Can't wait for it. We'll get to watch NASCAR here very, very shortly live together. See you guys. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night.